Using full feathers to set a wing on a steelhead fly definitely has its challenges, but it also has its reward. In this demo, I'm going to show you a couple tricks that make it doable, not easy, but doable to set the wing. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is start the tying thread just ahead of the point of the hook. And that's a very simple body on this fly. No tail, no tag, just a tinsel body. And I'm using Lagertune oval tinsel, large, in silver. I'm just going to lock that tinsel in with enough tag end to reach all the way up to the return. And I'll take my tying thread right down to the start of the bend, almost in line with the point before I start forward. And then as I wrap this thread forward, I'm being very careful to make sure that the tag end of that tinsel stays on the back of the hook and that I'm not creating any bulges with the tying thread. And if that tag end does move, I'll push it back in to position. This underbody is crucial to make the tinsel look good. And once I'm at the return, I'll stop and bring the tinsel forward. I'm just going to make wraps moving forward, butting each turn up as tightly to the last as possible. And I'll just take my time, making sure there's no gaps, and that I'm getting that tinsel on there nice and firm. I love how this oval tinsel sends off little sparks of light. And it's also metallic, so it adds a little bit of weight to the fly to get that fly down to depth a little bit quicker. And then once I've hit the return, I'll just catch it with a couple securing wraps. And I'm just going to check my work. Looks good. I'll go ahead and clip my excess. Now this fly has a little bit of plastic in it. It's not fully traditional, kind of a mix between old school and new school. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two different materials, two different dubbings. And the first dubbing is just a hot pink, kind of a coarse. I mean, it doesn't have to, it's not, really doesn't have to be anything special. Is what I'm going to use this dubbing for, is just to create a prop for the next dubbing that I put on. I use two different dubbing loops. Because the first one, I'm going to try to create a ball. I'm not gonna rake it out with Velcro. I'm just gonna let it go on as it goes on. I'm just trying to build up a prop for my next material. I'm kind of wrapping over the top of the last turn. And I'll catch it, and clip my excess. And I'm going to shape I'm going to shape this dubbing. Push it really tight, pack it in there. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there. And then I'll build another loop. And I'm going to fill this loop with steely blue ice dub. And what I'm going to try to do with this is almost build up like a collar. So I'm splitting those fibers right down the middle. Give it a good spin. And here, I will relieve those fibers that got trapped with Velcro. And then as I wrap this on, I'm going to fold those fibers back just like I'm folding a hackle and put the turns in front of the last. I don't need a whole lot of this. Just enough to give it a little bit of flash and a little bit of color. And once I feel like I've got enough, I'll catch my tag in. And before I clip it, I'll relieve those fibers with the Velcro. And get one more good securing wrap, then I'll clip my tag in. And then here what I'll do is I'll get everything kind of going backwards, tidy it up a little bit, and then I push the first ball of dubbing forward and the second rearward and pack it right on top so you get that nice teardrop shape. Yeah, that's looking just like I like it. And I'm just going to use a slopping hackle to finish the collar off. Trim all the barbs that I'm not going to use and the excess fluff off the stem. And gauge about a body's worth of hackle. Clip a small wedge. And then secure that in right on the side. And then I'll fold it and put a couple turns of hackle on this. If you've watched my thread work, you can see that I'm leaving that eye pretty clean up front. That's kind of crucial for setting the wing. You don't want a whole bunch of excess material up there to shoot the stems off on an angle that isn't acceptable. And there's our collar. And you can go ahead and clip the stem. Now to build this wing, I take 4 feathers off a neck. And I use all kinds of different colors. There's the purple one we're going to be using. There's an orange grizzly, dyed grizzly that I like a lot. And then just basic colors in orange, purple, black. Pretty much all of them. In fact, you can mix the wing, do different colors. Today we're just going to use purple. And traditionally, what I looked for in a neck like this was that it had a nice curve on the outside, and then I'd take 2 feathers off this side and 2 feathers off this side, made them together, and get that natural arc. But a lot of times when you look at these necks, those feathers don't have that curve. That drove me insane. Not that it's a big deal. I mean, you could set a wing and, have it standing up, and the water would cure any issues like that. But I like these flies to look good in my box, so I was looking for a way to get a curve in that. And it came when I was dyeing a grizzly neck. I dyed it purple, and I wanted to dry it really quick. So I grabbed my wife's hair dryer, and I was sitting there blow drying the hackle, and I saw that the heat was putting a natural bend in the stem, the bend that I was looking for. And I thought, well, I'll give that a shot. So what I did is I took 4 feathers off, and they just need to be matching. 4 feathers. And then I take 2 on one side and 2 on the other side and put them back to back. And then I just make sure that they line up, that the tips are all the same length. And I gauge that wing to length, and I clear all the excess barbs off the stem. And give it a good pinch. Look at it. That's looking pretty good. Then I just take a pair of hackle pliers and I catch all 4 of the feathers. You can see they're bladed, but they don't have that natural curve. I grab a hair dryer and just put some heat to those feathers, bend them over. And I just work them till they have the curve that I want. I'll look at them again. You can see how that heat puts that bend right in the feather. And when I'm happy, I'll just clip the stems. Push the stems through. Now here's the key though. Once I've done that and I've grabbed this hold right here, this pinch, don't let go. And I run the stems through, put it right into the position that I want them in. And I put a couple securing wraps, nice and firm. And do a little tug and pull it tight, but I'm not letting go till I'm confident that nothing's going to move. And when I feel good about the wing, we're good to go. And it just arcs right the way I like it. And it's going to look good in the box, but it's also going to fish really good. So once you've got your wing secured, you take these 4 stems and pull them underneath. and lock those in place with a couple good securing wraps. And what this does, it actually gives you the same amount on the top and bottom of the hook, so you get that symmetrical head. And just clip the 4 stems. And a whip finish. A little bit of head cement. And that fly is ready to fish. And you can set this wing on any, this is a 3/0 hook. You can set this wing on virtually any size fly. I use a feather wing actually quite a bit for summer steelhead in a small 6. So it's definitely doable and a lot of fun, and the rewards are great. Hope you got a little bit out of that, and good tying.